Hello everyone, Marcel Gagne here in a little place I like to call outside. And this is Cooking with Linux. I've got my Azusa hat on and my Red Hat shirt on, and today we're going to be talking about open source operating systems, which, as you know, Linux is one of them. But, as this is, still early in the show and, I'm trying to spawn controversy or something like that. Oh, wait a minute. How do I do controversy? I put on, let me see. I can put on somebody else's hat. There we go. I put on a red hat instead. Oh, red hat? What do you think? Red hat? Sousa hat? What do you think? Which one should we go with? It doesn't really matter because, like I said, this is episode 3 of Cooking with Linux, and just, to spice things up early in the game, we're gonna do a little bit of sacrilege. Sacrilege, yes. Sacrilege. Anyway, cheers. À votre santé et bon appétit. Outside. It's nice. Really. All right, I'm going to start this by asking you how you spell sacrilege. Sacrilege. This is, after all, Cooking with Linux, as you know, and well, we're going to do something a little bit different today. Okay, you've seen this before if you've watched my earlier video on how to install and run a machine under the Virtual Machine Manager. Virtual Machine Manager lets you install all sorts of things, including, believe it or not, Windows, if you wanted to go ahead and do that sort of thing. But today we're going to install a distribution which is going to make you say sacrilege, or if we're going to do it the way we might do it here, we'll call it sacrilege. Sacrilege. It's terrible. I don't know why we are going to do this. Anyway, by the way, when I do silly French accents, I just want to point out I am French. It's like Seinfeld. I'm allowed to make French accent jokes because I am French. Just want to make that clear, okay? Just want to make that clear. All right, so here's the ISO image that we're going to download. Are you ready for this? Okay, we're going to go browse, and we're going to go into our downloads directory, and check this out. Ghost BSD. Ghost BSD, does that sound like a Linux distribution to you? I don't know. Does it? Well, I'm doing this with, some kind of important madness in mind here. I know what you're saying. Actually, I don't know what you're saying because you're sitting over there in your own house, room, whatever, and I have no idea. I have no idea what you're saying. But let's pretend, just for a laugh here, that what you're saying is, Marcel, what are you doing, dude? You're planning on installing a non-Linux distribution. What are you thinking? Although I do love this. Look at that. This is like a geeky opening screen. Okay. And we're just going to let that go by for a second here, and trying to mount, trying to boot. Setting host name, Ghost BSD. And part of the reason I'm doing this, part of the reason I want to do this is I want to show you another open source distribution, something that, you probably don't get to play with or see on a regular basis, but I actually want you to look at it for a reason. So I'm going to say Ghost BSD. And obviously they have made it so that we don't actually need a password. Well, that was fun. All right. Okay, so we got all those errors there about VirtualBox. I don't really care, that VirtualBox isn't available. But what I want you to do, two things. One of them is there's obviously an installer here, and maybe we should just go ahead and install this onto. Obviously, we're booted up off the live CD there, so I'm just going to go say next, and I'm going to say keyboard layout is USA. I'm perfectly happy with that. Next, and continent. What continent are we on? America. I'm not in Boise. I'm not in Panama. I am, however, near Toronto. So I'm going to say Toronto. Full disk configuration. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Remember, this is a virtual disk. It doesn't actually matter that we're going to erase and overwrite everything that's there. Administration password. See, I just put something in there. And if you were typing my keystroke, very weak. It's a great password. It's a great password. No one will ever guess this password. Very weak indeed. Can you believe that? All right, Marcel Gagne. Host name, Marcel's Ghost. Marcel. Sure, why not? This thing really is not going to let me get away with this, is it? You know, shell, fish. You know what? I'm going to use bash just because I'm used to it. All right. So we're going to go with bash just because I mean, that's the only reason I'm going to use bash. So there we go. We're going ahead and we're going to install Ghost BSD. So what we've done, just to recap, okay, we have our virtual machine manager. I'm going to do my little control alt here to jump out of that window. We've got our virtual machine manager, which is running up here. Actually, I should probably just stop running that open Mandriva machine. But hey, won't worry about that right now. So GhostBSD is actually running over here. It's installing, and what we're doing is we're installing it inside a live shell. So essentially what we've done is we've booted up off the live CD, or in this case the live DVD, exactly as you would with a distribution that you just wanted to try out, that you didn't want to bother installing. And now, because we're booted off a virtual machine as opposed to, you know, me erasing my actual honest to God real machine here, we're just going to go ahead and install this thing. So it's copying the system to drive. I don't know exactly how long this is going to take. I mean, this could take a few minutes, but what we're going to do is we're going to wait those few minutes. I'm going to go off and suggest that you guys grab yourself a glass of wine, sit back, you know, sip that. If you need to, you know, if it's too early in the day for wine, although frankly, I'm not entirely sure what too early in the day for wine means. But if it's too early in the day for wine, you know, you could go out and make yourself an espresso or a cappuccino or something like that, you know, or, you know, raid the refrigerator. I don't know. But either way, we'll come back in a few minutes. It's 2:52 according to this, and we'll see how long this took a few minutes from now. All right? All right. See you in a couple. All right, and we're back now, and it says installation is complete. You need to restart the computer in order to use the new installation. Well, that makes perfect sense. It is 3 p.m. I suppose we could have just hung out and waited, so it really didn't take all that long to install that. So I'm going to click restart. And now we've got our old text screen there. I do love those old text screens. Sometimes I get a little bit scared when something is booting or something is shutting down. And frankly, all I see is just, you know, a graphical thing on the screen that just sort of sits there. It's pretty, it looks nice, but I don't know that it's actually doing anything. I just sort of have to wait until it actually comes up to believe that something has actually happened. So there we go. The supervisor, the hypervisor is done. We're not going to hold the left key. We're just going to let this thing boot. Loading kernel, and away we go. There we go. Our text screen with our or not text screen, text screen, identifying the hardware. In this case, all the virtual hardware. We're almost there, almost there. Just hold on a little longer. Almost there. You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home. Am I allowed to quote from Star Wars? I guess we're going to find out, aren't we? Is this man allowed to quote from Star Wars? I don't know. Marcel. There, we'll use the password or the configuration that I used earlier. And my very weak password, as the system handily pointed out for me. And there we go. There was the theme music in the background there as the system started up. And now, so we've booted up this Ghost BSD machine. And what's kind of fun and funky about this is if you click inside and you click applications and we go accessories, you'll notice that there are a lot of things there. Now, the screen resolution may not be exactly what I want at this point, but what I really wanted to show you is there are a lot of things here that you know, you're going to be familiar with if you're using on a Linux distribution. LibreOffice, for instance, Internet. We've got Firefox web browser, Office applications. We've got, like I said, the whole LibreOffice suite. You know, Writer, Calc. You know, the things that you're used to. Some of the Cheese, the photo booth application for GNOME, and a whole bunch of things that, frankly, should make you feel right at home if you're actually, you know, if you're used to using a Linux distribution that's actually working with. So what I'm going to do that's working with Mate as a desktop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say the root terminal here. It's going to ask me for the password. which, again, my very weak password. But this is just a demo machine, okay? I'm not trying to make anything. And here we go. So now, well, thank you very much. There's an updated release. That's very nice to know. But here you go. So we can do a DF. We can type top, not tip top. We can type top and find out, what's running on the machine and, the resources that are being taken up by the things that are running on the machine. I can calendar. Let's do a calendar for the year 2032. Calendar for the year 2032. So in the year 2032, in case anybody is looking to find me a gift at that point, my birthday is going to be on a Thursday. I just want to point that out. It's going to be on a Thursday in the year. What year did I say this is going to be? Year 2032. Anyway, so there's a lot of familiar here. It's another operating system. Yes, it's actually an open source operating system. So if this is important to you, and if you're tuning in to Cooking with Linux, then there's a pretty good chance that it's important to you that this is an open source software. But there's a lot of familiarity here. So if you wanted to get a feel for the other operating source distributions out there, you might want to just check out GhostBSD. It's not that different. It's not a completely unfamiliar environment if you're used to working in the Linux world. And, you can see how the other half lives, so to speak. Anyway, that's where I'm going to leave it for today. GhostBSD. Why don't you check it out? And if you want to hang around for a little while, find yourself a table in the restaurant, and I'll have Francois walk around and refill your glasses. In the meantime, à votre santé et bon appétit. I'll see you next time on Cooking with Linux.